Well, now let's return to the Zohar, where we left off on Friday. Four directions are there in the kiss. It's talking about the kiss between God and man. Absolutely the kiss. It says the four spirits ascend in four letters, these being the letters from which depend the holy name, and with it all things that are, both above and below. Also, the singing of the Song of Songs derives its meaning therefrom. And what are these four letters? Aleph, He, Bet, He, which spells the Hebrew word for love, which form a supernal chariot. They constitute the linking of all things into a perfect whole. These four letters are the four directions of the love and joy of all the limbs of the body without any sadness at all. Four directions are there in the kiss. That is, four ways of combining the letters, each one fulfilling itself in union with the other. And when two spirits thus become mutually interlocked, they form two which are as one, and thus the four form one perfect whole. This is a description of sacred sexuality. When two spirits join through sacred sexuality, they form a perfect whole. When they separate, there is formed from these four a certain offspring, a spirit formed of four spirits, which ascends and splits the firmaments until it reaches a palace which is called the Palace of Love, because all love is centered there. And therefore, this spirit is also called love. This is a discussion of love, not the love the New Age people speak of when they speak of love. It is a far higher form of love. It goes beyond the love for each other. It is love without attachment. Listen to what I'm saying. The main difference between the love being spoken of here in the Zohar and the love that the New Age people speak of is that the New Age people speak of love with attachment. This is speaking of love without attachment, love without ego. When the spirit ascends to this palace, it incites the palace to attach itself to that which is above. As we have said, there are four letters which proceed in four directions, and they are the letters which spell the word love in Hebrew. Their fruit is love. Their fruit is love. Again, a reference to sacred sexuality. When they unite, one is active towards one direction, another towards the opposite direction. First comes the letter Aleph in Aleph, He, Bet, He. Then comes the letter He, which unites itself with the Aleph of. From these two letters, other letters issue, Bet and He, and spirits are interlocked with other spirits in love. This is telling us of the kavanah that must be done while engaging in the sexual intercourse. What is the tikkun? The tikkun is, while engaging in the sexual intercourse, to imagine the Aleph giving birth to the He, and then the Bet and the He coming forth from that. This is a prescription for a virtual tikkun. How many of you are following that? While a man and a woman, or two people, a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, while they are having sexual intercourse, or sacred sexuality. And the spirits are interlocked with spirits above. Then the letters arise and float away in the breath of that spirit which ascended and adorn themselves within it in the proper fashion. So one is virtually visualizing that spirit ascending as one is having sacred sexuality, and then after the orgasm one visions it floating away, floating away. Then the letters arise and float away in the breath of that spirit, the soul, which ascended, and adorn themselves within the proper fashion. From before to after the orgasm in sacred sexuality, this is a description of what one is to be visualizing internally while engaging in the sacred sexuality, from before the orgasm to after the orgasm. When love, thus consummated, according to those four directions, ascends aloft, it meets with a celestial chief who is appointed over 1,990 firmaments, and over the outward flowing of the 13 streams of pure balsam, which descend from the mysterious supernal dew, D-E-W. Guess what the supernal dew is a reference to? This chief tries to prevent the spirit from proceeding, but does not prevail, and it makes his way to the palace of love. Concerning this matter, Solomon speaks at the end of his canticle, saying, quote, "Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it," unquote. Again, a reference to this Song of Songs, the Canticle of Canticles, the Holy of Holies. The chief, of whom we have spoken, is an angel sent forth by the Holy One, blessed be He. He is Lord over many celestial hosts. He wreathes crowns for his Lord. And this is the significance of his name, Akathriel, God crowning. Now there's an angel's name that we have not heard before. There are many more angels than are known, and these are talked of, spoken of, in the Zohar and in Kabbalah. Akathriel, the God crowning one. Akathriel. You'll notice in occult matters, these angels, these Hebrew named angels, are invoked in occultism. They are. During their rituals, the Hebrew names of these angels, these little-known angels, are invoked. Thus, even in occultism, the power of these angels and their names is acknowledged. Akathriel, God crowning. For he prepares crowns from the graven and inscribed name, Yod He Vav He Zebaot. Another thing, the holy name, Zebaot. When that love, when that spirit enters the palace of love, the love yearning for the supernal kiss is aroused. Those concerning which it is written, quote, "And Jacob kissed Rachel," unquote, so that the kisses of the supernal love are duly brought forth, and they are the beginning of the awakening of all supernal love, attachment, and union. whoever is editing and going to post this talk, make the title of this talk Attachment and Union in the Awakening of Supernal Love. Attachment and Union in the Awakening of Supernal Love. For this reason, the hymn begins with the words, the Song of Songs, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth." And we'll continue with this tomorrow morning when we return to the Zohar. Let me conclude with our recitation of the final passages of the Song of Songs, which is being discussed. This is the final passages that we will read aloud. Let me find my place. Just a moment. Hang on, here we go. The conclusion to the Song of Songs. Who is this coming up from the desert, leaning on her beloved? And the bridegroom says, I awakened you under the apple tree, there where your mother conceived you, there where she who gave birth to you conceived you. Set me like a seal upon your heart, like a seal on your arm. For love is strong as death, jealousy relentless as Sheol. The flash of it as a flash of fire, a flame of Yahweh himself. Love no flood can quench, no torrents drown. There follows several notes. Aphorism of a sage. Were a man to offer all the wealth of his house to buy love, contempt is all he would purchase. This is carefully identifying this love being spoken of in Shir HaShirim as not the kind of human love that it can be mistaken for. Then there follows two epigrams. Our sister is little, her breasts are not yet formed. What shall we do for our sister on the day she is spoken for? If she is a rampart, on the crest we shall build a battlement of silver. If she is a door, we will board her up with planks of cedar. I am a wall, and my breasts represent its towers, and under his eyes I have found true peace. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Hamon. He entrusted it to overseers, and each one was to pay him the value of its produce, 1,000 shekels of silver. But I look after my own vineyard myself. You, Solomon, may have your 1,000 shekels, and those who oversee its produce their 200. And then there are final additions at the conclusion. You who dwell in the gardens, my companions, listen for your voice. Deign to let me hear it. Haste away, my beloved, be like a gazelle, a young stag on the spicy mountains. Amen v'amen. Let everyone say and type amen. And that concludes our teaching this morning. Let me take down your hands and let me ask for comments, questions, reactions to this morning's teaching. Raise your hand if you have any. Waiting. Drew, please go ahead. Yesod, go ahead. Anyone else? Yolanda, Dr. Shazer, David, Wilma. Raise your hand if you have anything you want to say. Yesod, ass-kicking exegesis feels like a doctoral class in neo-sabbatian sexuality. Absolutely. Well said. At the Ivy League Kabbalah Virtual University from on high. Beautiful. Thank you. So, blessed be the Holy One. May we learn to apply to God that which we have been taught for God's sake. Alleluia. Thank you, Yesod. God bless you. That's beautiful. Drew, please go ahead. Good to be here. Blessed to be part of this. Thank you, Drew. Good to have you here. And again, I hope you're feeling better. I know exactly what you're talking about and where you're coming from, so please don't apologize. Good to see you. Anyone else? Last minute comment? Question? David, please go ahead. You said, I will correct the spelling, though this is the title. I got attachment in the let me see. Just a moment. Let me get back to the Zohar itself, because it's exactly a quote. No, it's attachment and union in the awakening of supernal love. Attachment and union in the awakening of supernal love. Do you want me to type it out? I'll be glad to type it out. Good. Thank you, Isad. God bless you. Attachment and union in the awakening of supernal love. David, go ahead. Please make your comment. And Drew, go ahead. Every well-felt and experienced kiss echoes in the above and raises us to the supernal. Baruch Hashem. Amen. Drew. Amen. Absolutely. Thank you, Drew. David, rather. Pardon me. Thank you, David. Thank you. Well said. Beautifully said. Drew, go ahead. Do you have something more you wanted to say? Please. Waiting for Drew, who has something. Oh, here we go. Also, the names of the angels reminded me of my early dabblings with the occult. Yes, that's what I was referring to. But I always knew there was something more than just the names. Absolutely. So you're familiar with these names of angels in Hebrew that are invoked in the occult rituals. Absolutely. Yes. Miriam also is familiar with them. She also comes from the same kind of background. I know of that only by study. I've not participated in such occultism, but I know of it by reading the texts and so forth, and studying the texts and so forth. I think it's powerful, and the reason it's powerful, in part, is because it invokes these Hebrew names. Thank you, Drew. Thank you. Any other last-minute comments? All right, now please remember, we'll see you all again tomorrow morning, same time, same station, for our next class on the Zohar. Thank you. And God bless everyone now. Please bless and heal Miriam, our beloved, not only for her sake, Lord, but for thy sake. Amen. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Emir Hashem. In the meantime, have a blessed day.